It's 5:30 in the morning, and that means the gates are going to open shortly. Now, there's always a few schools of thought on whether you should get up at the crack of dawn and queue up at the gate and drive out like a hurricane to look for cats, or do what I do, which is relax, take it easy, and get up 10 minutes after the gate opens, or leave 10 minutes after the gate opens, and just enjoy a sedate and slow drive through the park without rushing around looking for cats, because I feel that one of the things that we need to do when we come to a place like this is to actually relax into it and let the bush wash over us and the sightings wash over us, instead of seeking them out and having the angst that we feel every day in the rest of the world follow us into a place of peace like this.
When the morning's standing at your door, brighter than our mornings come before, don't be late, my dear, life won't wait, my dear, don't be late.
It's 7:45 in the morning, and we're driving eastwards into the rising sun along the banks of the Crocodile River. And it's been a wonderful morning of small sights and sounds and wonderful fresh smells that have been wafting through the vehicle. And there hasn't been that much in the way of wildlife sightings, just your normal things like impala and zebra and a few waterbuck and actually 3 rhino. But that doesn't matter, because it's the sights and the smells and the sounds and the ambience of this environment that really means something. And if you get a photograph, well, that's just a bonus.
When the day is longer than the night, the road ahead is clear and in the light, don't be late, my dear, life won't wait, my dear, don't be late, don't be late. Falls across the land, and your lover's reaching you the hand, don't be late, my dear, life won't wait, my dear, don't be late.
These low-water bridges in Kruger are actually quite rewarding places to sit, not just because they're lush and beautiful with tall reeds and lovely patches and puddles of water, but because they've got interesting little creatures like these terrapins. And I swear that these terrapins are attracted to motor vehicles. They can hear them, and they come swimming in swarms. And I can only think it's because sometimes they get fed biltong. So when you do see these bridges, have a stop, have a look. Look out for the animals on them, and if you see terrapins, take a picture or two and use a polarizer to eliminate the reflections off their shells. There's always more going on in the bush than you think. having just stopped, we've heard what sounds like lions and an elephant in distress, or maybe some kind of young elephant just out of sight. And there's growling and truncated, trumpeting sounds coming from the bush about 60 meters away. And unfortunately, we can't see what's going on, but we can certainly hear that something big is happening just over there.
We were once inseparable. We were closer than two of a kind. The bond was almost palpable. Solemn oaths with our blood that were signed. But in time both led by life to our own. Two paths led in parallel before winding up into the unknown. Yes,
It can get really dusty in this part of the world, so when you're changing teleconverters or changing lenses, it's always a good idea just to keep a dust cloth handy and to blow around the base of the lens just to stop dust getting into your equipment. That being said, I don't think we should baby our equipment. I mean, it's here to be used. So if you get a nice sighting like I did of these European bee-eaters, then by all means just get in there and change whatever lens you need to get a shot of them, because they don't stick around for long. You can't see them, but there's 3 wild dog buried in the grasses on my right, and I'm really grateful I've got a wide aperture lens with me, an f2.8, because I can manual focus through some of the grasses and blur out some of that obscuring foliage to show you what's going on. They're just lying up, having mated about 20 minutes ago, and they tend to den in a spot for most of the day before going hunting just before evening. So these dogs are going to be here for quite a long time, and it's not really that easy to get shots of them when they're lying in this long grass unless you manual focus and use a really wide aperture just to blur it out.
I wanna go there someday. I know we're going somewhere, into the danger zone. It all points right to that. I set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be okay, waking up to another day.
I've made a pretty rookie mistake. I've been caught quite far from camp when the light's good, and what that means is I'm having to rush away from sightings that perhaps I'd normally photograph, like these zebras that are crossing the road right at this moment. And unfortunately, because camp's about 20 k's away and we've only got 40 minutes to get there, it's looking like we're going to have to skip some of these sightings. But on the plus side, we did see a honey badger, which was awesome, and we stopped and looked at him grubbing in a pile of rhino dung, looking for some really nice tasty grubs to eat. So you have to weigh up those opportunities. Sometimes you spend a little bit too long at a sighting and then spend the good light trying to get home instead of photographing something else.